Hello, welcome to the Mad Batter channel. My name's Chris. Since I recorded 2 videos on Luminar AI a couple of weeks ago, I've been playing more with the program. As you probably know, Luminar AI is really a pure editing software, a bit like Lightroom. So you can't create new files, you can just edit and export existing files. There are no layers, no type tool or even a simple paintbrush. But that's okay, it has some great tools for doing really good editing. Since I've been playing further with the program, I have come up with a way to simulate a simple paintbrush and another way to adjust image colours. I noticed that there is of course a paintbrush tool, but only in the masking functionality, but I found a way to use that to effectively create a paintbrush tool using the local masking texture tool. I've also found another way to adjust colours in an image using the same local masking texture tool. Here's how it works. Here we are in Luminar AI, and I'll open in the Edit tab this simple white JPEG file. Now what we need to do is go to local masking, add texture, load texture. And now what we need to do is to load another plain image on top of the original. In deciding which plain image to load, you need to be careful. If you load a black, white or any shade of grey image, then your paintbrush will only paint with black, white or grey. If you want colour in your paintbrush, you have to load an image which has some colour in, however slight. I'll load what I've called slight warm white.jpg. And we'll increase the opacity to 100%. Now, if you don't have a way to create such files for yourself, it's easy to make your own in Luminar AI. Do a Google search for white JPEG, and there are lots of free plain white JPEG images to download. Open in Luminar AI, go to the Edit tab and simply change the white balance a bit, either going warm or cool, and export the file and bring it back into Luminar before opening up as a texture. So having loaded our texture, we then go to the advanced settings and we need to choose a colour. First of all, you need probably to reduce the brightness, increase the saturation. Let's find, how about that? So play around to find a colour that you want. And then we go to the masking function. Make sure we're on paint. Radius is a minimum of 10, that's the lowest it'll go. Softness 0, opacity 100. And then you just start writing. I'm actually using a pen and tablet rather than a mouse. But here we go. And there we are, a pen tool. Again, you can play with this to your heart's desire. If instead of a colour you want black, then you go to subtract, increase the brightness and the contrast to maximum, you've got black. If you had a black background and you wanted white, you would go to screen, and that will give you white writing. Of course, the colours you can achieve depend partly on what texture you load. So we'll do it again and we'll choose a much stronger colour this time. Opacity 100%. So now let's find a nice blue. Now, because we started with a much stronger colour in the file, it's much more intense. That's quite a nice. So paint mask tool again. And there's our blue. You can change it how you want it, a bit more saturation maybe. And again we can convert it to black by going to subtract. So that's the basic idea of how you create a paintbrush tool in Luminar AI. So now I'll do a quick edit showing not only the paintbrush tool but also how to use these plain images as an alternative way of changing the colours of parts of an image rather than reloading the image itself, as I showed in my video about layers in Luminar. So we'll take this photo here, taken in Little Langdale Tarn in the Lake District in the UK. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to make this grass in the front greener. So we'll add texture, load texture, and we'll choose this vivid colour here, 100%, advanced settings. So let's make this, that's a pretty intense green. It's probably, you want to make it a bit brighter. That should be fine. So now I'll take the paintbrush tool, make it slightly soft, we'll make it a bigger. We're on paint, so a bit of a quick job, but okay. A little bit more up there. Now of course that doesn't look very good, so you've got to change the blend mode to colour. Now of course that's way over the top, so we'll reduce the saturation to taste. I don't know, maybe a bit, is it better to have it? You can adjust these colours to get the colour one, so that'll do for current purposes. Okay, so now we want to make the sky a bit bluer. So we'll add another texture, load texture, and we'll go for this strong warm, 100%, and settings. I've experimented with this a bit. And about there, that's a nice blue. And now we'll convert this to multiply mode, and I want to paint this into the sky. So do a pretty quick rough job. I think we just need to delete a bit of it up here. Yeah, so it's not very accurate, but so we can either reduce the saturation or the opacity. Oh, I thought that was probably a little over the top, but anyway, gives the sky a bit. Sorry about the edge, it's not very good, but I don't want to waste your time doing a more accurate drop. So now we want to just add some text on the top, so we'll add another texture layer. Load texture, we'll go back to our slightly warm, 100%, advanced settings, as we're going to have black, it really doesn't matter. So reduce these, and we'll just type there. Now, I think we really want black writing, so we'll go there. So there we are. We've got blue sky, green grass and black writing. Now, one thing to bear in mind, you need to plan ahead, because when you add textures, Luminar adds the latest texture on the top, and there's no way of changing the order of these textures like you can layers in Photoshop. So in this case, had we done the writing first and then done the blue sky would have appeared over the top of the writing. So obviously we want the writing to be last on top, so it's the last texture we've added. So there we are, how to simulate a paintbrush tool in Luminar AI, and yet another way of altering the colours in an image in different parts using the local masking texture tool, but using plain images rather than reloading the same image. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this enjoyable, and again, if you need me to comment or look at other features of Luminar AI, please get in touch. Many thanks.